ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of The Wrestling Realm, the one you have been waiting for. The people have spoken, and this is who out there deserves a push. You know, I've talked to the fans. I've asked them what's their opinions. And before we give you ours, let me log onto the Facebook page. You can catch it on The Wrestling Realm on Facebook.com. And I have a gentleman by the name of Ramel Nyman Marcus Talley, who said, one of my favorites.
Oh no.
Drew McIntyre deserves a push. So, Ramel, first and foremost, thanks for joining the page. Thanks for watching the show. Keep giving us your insight on everything, As you can see, we will, we'll give you the shout outs, Matter of fact, speaking of shout outs, everybody, I want y'all to check out my boy Y Young C and the crew, Vito Cash, Montana Stacks, Dre Day Spade. They are known as Get Money Union. Check out the album United by the Grind. You can join their Facebook page at G.M.U. Make sure you check it out. It's on the Wrestling Realm page. My bad, I had to get that in there.
You gotta do, bro.
Get everybody out. So, and then let's log on to the Twitter site. Like I said, the Wrestling Realm, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we reach out to the fans. So, we got my boy out there, the Shark of Wrestling, who also writes for UltimateSportsTalk.com as yours truly, Mr. Main EVent BDuB does. And he says that he has a few who should get pushed, and they are Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, and Evan Bourne. That's his opinion. I agree with all of them. I really do. And then we also have Naughty_Goddess, and she says she feels Mark Henry should get pushed down a flight of stairs.
I don't think that is the push we were talking about, but okay.
And she also says that, seriously, she wished one of your favorites could get a push.
Oh, really?
That is the one and only John Morrison.
Oh, come on. See, I really thought you were... Never mind. Whatever. Anyways.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we do reach out to the fans. The fans' voices are heard. So, now, the Real Dwayne Allen is going to give you who he feels should be pushed in the world of professional wrestling.
Okay, first off, should we do this one at a time?
Go ahead. Yeah, whatever.
My first push, and I'm going to do this in a very unorthodox fashion, Samoa Joe of Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Yes. I started out with the TNA guy. I started out with the TNA guy, yes. Samoa Joe's body of work in the ring is unbelievable. The guy has he's kind of, he gained a little weight. But when he first came into TNA, of course he made a name himself for the Independence and a Ring of Honor. But what he's done in TNA is nothing short of amazing. When he first got there, this guy was on a huge undefeated streak. Okay. He's a super heavyweight guy, but he was in X Division matches, which was the cruiserweight division at the time. I guess they would still consider that. Yeah. Even though it's sort of depleted. But Samoa, it's no reason he had a worse title run in TNA. But the problem with TNA is they don't know how to make the new stars relevant. Even AJ Styles as champion really wasn't relevant. It didn't seem like it was a special run.
Especially when you waited so long as a fan for him to get that title.
Right. You know what I mean? And, it sort of got overshadowed. And a guy like Samoa Joe has all the talent in the world. He has a look, he has muscles, but they messed up somewhere down the line. They changed his look 5 or 6 times. He's finally got back to his original look. He's gained a little bit of weight, and it just seems like he just constantly declined. And it's just a disappointment to see someone so talented. I watched the match recently. It was Bound for Glory. I believe it was 4, Bound for Glory 4, where he faced Sting for the world heavyweight, for the TNA World Title, and it was great. I mean, the match was really good from start to finish. And when I say that, I say, you know what? Why was this match not important? Mm-hmm. Why was the importance taken off this matchup? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what it is to deal with TNA wrestling. I don't know what they need to do to get it together, but I really feel like he is one of those guys that needs to be pushed to the forefront and marketed in a way that makes him important. And you know what? If TNA can't, somebody else will.
You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
So that is my first guy who I feel deserves the push.
You know, I feel that way. And another TNA guy I'd say is
Oh, we on a roll today. 2 TNA guys to start the show. This is new.
D'Angelo De Niro.
Wow, Elijah Burke himself.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of his. Even when he was in ECW, I was always a fan of his. I was impressed with his skills, and I'm really impressed with his mic skills.
Okay.
You know, his ability to. I remember I watched it first time I was just looking at TNA, and I hadn't seen it in a while. And I was like, "Dang, this guy's kind of high." And he was in a segment with Hogan.
Okay.
And I was like, you know, obviously when you're in a segment with Hogan, you're relevant. And I was like, yeah, this guy, he's pretty good. So that's one I really just think deserves a push.
You know what? As a matter of fact, I agree with that. I'm saying, I always liked Elijah Burke's work. You know, especially like you said, especially in ECW. You know, I was disappointed to see him released by WWE. I can understand why, but you know, I think he was one of those guys that he really could have, you know, been a huge single star. And when you say his mic work, you're right. At first in ECW, I thought it was okay, but when he was in TNA, I saw him do a segment with Kevin Nash and Sting. You know, when they were going against was it Sterling Morgan at the time, or Hogan and Bischoff and their regime, or whatever they were doing in the beginning. You know, and he held his own on the mic.
Yeah.
And I think he's another one of those guys that really talented, that I was hoping was going to get that push once he got to TNA, and has once again been pushed to the back burner. I mean, they try to give him a build up, but I don't think they should have allowed him to use that Pope character because it's sort of silly.
Yeah,
I think if they gave him something a little better and say, you know, we like your idea, but we want to, you know, do something else. I think he really could have been a standout star, along with stars like Samoa Joe and even a Matt Hardy, instead of falling into these groups and taking a back seat to whatever TNA has going on at the time. So I agree with that. I mean, I think that was a very good pick.
Yeah. Who's your next one?
My next pick, I would say, is someone that you fans will probably question me about, but I'm going to go ahead and say this because I really believe in this guy. I'm going to say Kurt Hawkins.
Okay, yeah, I've heard you say that a lot of times.
I talk about Kurt Hawkins a lot. Kurt Hawkins is a very talented superstar, smaller guy, but that guy is legit in the ring. That guy, when he first came in, he was part of the Major Brothers, you know, Brett and Matt Major, along with Zack Ryder. Eventually, they morphed into the Edge Heads. You know, run around with Edge, being his cronies or his goons, whatever you want to call them. And then they had their own tag team a while. Then the tag team split up and Zack Ryder changed his character. And he moved on to another tag team. He's with Vance Archer or Lance Hoyt, for those who know who that is, previously in TNA. But then he got back on his own.
Right.
And you see a lot of Kurt Hawkins matches on Superstars and things like that. And this guy has a good look. I'm not sure how he is on the mic as much. I haven't heard him do much mic work, but he has a good look. His in-ring skills are the best. I've seen him and Trent Beretta, another lower-level superstar from the SmackDown brand, put on some crazy matches on WWE Superstars. I'm really impressed with this guy, and I think he has the opportunity to really, really do something in this business. And I don't think he hasn't gotten a push because of what he isn't or can and cannot do. I think for his class of wrestler, as a whole, they're not getting exposure with the push, and I think that cruiserweight division.
Right.
So my next guy, who I think deserves a push, is Kurt Hawkins. I would like to see this guy get ahead.
Okay, I agree. You know, I really do. I always thought he had good in-ring skills, good ring ability, and I thought, you know, him and Ryder worked well together. So I mean, I think that those two, if they were still together, could really help elevate the tag team division. I would like to see them work with the Usos.
Yeah,
you know,
like that.
Or even Slater and Gabriel.
Okay, no, that makes actually a lot of sense. I think with Zack Ryder's current character and Kurt Hawkins' current character, I think that would make an interesting tag team. And I didn't think about that, but you know what though, you might be onto something.
Yeah.
So
who you got next?
Another cruiserweight, Tyson Kidd.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
Once again, this guy has a great look. He's okay on the mic. He said a few things here and there. He has a good character, even when it's as a heel. You know, he's a bit conniving. You know, I really enjoyed his turn on D.H. Smith when the Hart Dynasty broke up. I said, okay, this guy's really on something. And like I said, I think I would like to really see him get a chance to really shine. He puts a lot of great matches on Superstars.
Yeah.
If it was still on TV in the United States, I probably would watch it a lot more than I have in the past. But you know, I catch it online when I can. But Tyson Kidd is a talented guy, but like I say, he's just a smaller guy.
I felt that when they split him up, I said the only way I'll like it is if they do something with either one of them. Okay. You know, I'm a fan of both. I I still feel that DH. I feel like maybe he needs to put a little bit more weight on.
You think so?
Just a little bit. Maybe not be
DH?
not a muscle head like his father, but just to be a little bit more intimidating.
Oh no, okay, that
You
makes
know, a
sense,
little
though.
bit more intimidating. And I think with that, he deserves a good push. Great in-ring ability. You know, if you haven't done so, check my blog out. I did a recent interview with Smith Hart, the oldest member of the Hart family. That is Smith. That is D.H. Smith's oldest uncle, and he indicated that, you know, that's obviously, you know, for obvious reasons, but that's his favorite wrestler on the roster. But also, you know, he knows great in-ring ability. So check out that full interview on ultimatesportstalk.com or bdubsthoughts.blogspot.com. But, you know, I really have always been a fan of D.H. Smith, you know. And I'm a fan of him and McGillicuddy.
Okay.
You know, I like McGillicuddy being with Otunga. I think that they can kind of help elevate the tag team division, you know. If they can bring some meaning to those belts, as like we indicated that
Right.
a lot of other guys are doing with the singles, if they can bring some meaning to those belts, they'll be definitely heading in the right direction.
I mean, I agree. I mean, D.H. Smith. I hope they have something in the works for him, something good. So I think he, like you said, he's got to stop being so nice, like you said. I think he needs he needs to be one of those mean streak, intimidating guys. He's a big guy. Use your size. You know, big guys usually get pushes in WWE, and he has the potential to be one of those prototypical, you know, muscle-bound superstars that Vince has always catered to in the past.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even I would love for him to walk in his father's footsteps if he have to.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Why not? You know, you could easily say, I'm honoring my father. You know, and you won't be. It happened with DiBiase. You know, he decided to be the spoiled rich kid, the son to the $1 million man.
Yeah.
It didn't work for DiBiase, but you never know. It might, you know, it might work. I think it would be a good way for it to bring relevance on D.H. Smith while still giving honor to his father. But you know, you never know. Maybe he doesn't want to walk in his father's footsteps. We don't know the situation with that as far as that's concerned. But
Right.
I mean, I agree.
Now, what you got next?
Who do I have next? I have we'll go back to TNA. Another guy, Robert Roode.
Yeah.
You know,
Without a doubt. Like,
Robert
Hogan
Roode.
says it all the time.
This guy is just, I think he's a total package.
Yeah.
He has a great look. In-ring skills are great. Great, you know, whatever. He's good on the mic. I don't understand what the problem is. You know, there's no reason why he shouldn't be one of the top guys in TNA right now.
Right.
When he was on his own and he was on this whole money thing, like, you know, he had a very good classic look. You know, he came out with his fancy robe. He had a, you know, valet, beauty, you know, little / beauty queen, whatever you want to call Tracy Brooks at the time, whatever she was doing. It was working for a little bit. You know, he was having a hard time getting relevance, but he was beefing with Booker T when he first came in. I enjoyed that matchup because you had a veteran putting over a potential young guy, but of course that didn't last very long.
Right.
Because he got away from, I guess, the singles competition. He wasn't really getting over much, but then he went back into a tag team with James Storm, which they, you know, they do well in tag team wrestling. They're probably the best tag team on the face of the planet. That's on national television right now. I don't know about as far as the other promotions, but you know, they do a good job for tag team wrestling. And I hate to see them break up, but this guy can really be important. There's no reason why this guy shouldn't be fighting somebody, you know, on TNA for the top spot.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know, I don't see what the problem is. Like, I don't understand why it's not happening the way I feel it could be happening. Maybe it's whatever reason, but I mean, Robert Roode, in my opinion, is a total package, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be a top star right now, or at least being prepped to being a star. If they can do it for Anderson, I don't see why they can't do it for Roode.
And when I saw him, I mean, he reminds me. I know they're not related, but he reminds me of Ravishing Roode.
He really does.
The way he talks, the way he approaches the microphone,
Right.
the way he approaches the ring, and I felt like, you know, he's got to be a star in this business. And you know what? I feel that I don't think they can drop the ball with him. You know, I think he's going to eventually be up there. I heard he had a chance to go to the WWE. I heard they wanted him. So.
They wanted him. They wanted him. They wanted Joe. They wanted, but a lot of guys turned it down because they believed in TNA, which I respect. You know, you naturally want to stay with the company that's loyal to you, that, you know, that's, I guess, made you who you are. But when is enough enough?
You're right.
You know, and, you know, a lot of people are afraid to, you know, because with WWE, you know, there's no games over there. There's only one boss. you know, and you don't really have much say. And I'm not saying the guys didn't have much say now, but I know that whole family-oriented way of doing things is not going to be the same way necessarily in WWE. It's all business. You know?
You on the road with these TNA cats.
I mean, it's just I see a lot of potential.
Do the booking.
Anybody can do a better job than them right now. I don't know what the deal is with TNA, but they've always had a lot of potential, and a lot of their guys have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But yet they don't know how to make them relevant. You know, just because you put them in a match or a program doesn't make them relevant.
You're right.
You know, you got to build these guys in a way, and it takes time. And people who disagree with TNA always say that TNA doesn't take the time to do it. They give you something, and it doesn't work. Okay, so they scrap and try something new, and it's like you're not giving it the patience because it's not turning the way they want, but you have to be patient. You got to take criticism. WWE takes it all the time. They take heat all the time. We always talk about what Vince is not doing, what creative is not doing, and they're like, okay, you deal with it. But at the end of the day, we're still watching and saying, oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
But because they're not afraid to say, you know what, TNA wants to please everybody and be everybody's friend and family, but that's what a lot of people say. But you know, they don't think Dixie Carter is tough enough for the business because they don't think she wants to make the tough decisions. Say, you know what, no, you're not going to do that. No, you can't do that. That's not what we're going to do. They're like, you know, we love you, respect you, we're a family. And it's like, but you're running the business. Yeah. That you want to be profitable, and in business, it's not a lot of families.
Right.
So,
what else you got for us?
You on
the road. You making a lot of sense on this one.
I would say Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger deserves a push?
Yes.
Okay.
I say this because I think Jack Swagger deserves a push, not because I feel like, oh, he has done enough to deserve to be a top guy or push, but I feel like he has a potential and they need to capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between him and a lot of guys like Tyson Kidd and Kurt Hawkins is because he has size.
Right.
He's a, All-American amateur wrestler from Oklahoma. You know, his in-ring skills are decent, but they need to build a type of character around him that I feel will make him a legit threat. They did it first, but they got away from it because I guess the way things were going, they needed to get the title off of him because, you had the business changed. It changes so much and things happen. Sometimes you got to switch things around. Sometimes you may have plans for one thing. Mm-hmm. Something happens, somebody comes back, and you got to switch things around. It happens. They're trying to make him relevant again. But I noticed on Pinfall Magazine on Twitter what they were saying, they noticed that they're trying to they see a pattern between Jack Swagger's current push now to Randy Orton's Legend Killer push that he received in his younger days. Where, he's sort of targeting a lot of the older guys, saying, you know what, you're supposed to be this, that, and the third, and he's challenging a lot of people.
He went at Slaughter.
Started with Booker T. Yeah, went at Slaughter, and it's not a bad idea, but the same thing that's wrong with Swagger is the same thing wrong with D.H. Smith. I think he needs to be more intimidating.
Yeah.
When Swagger first got his world title reign, he didn't say much. He came out there, he gave you the stare, he do his move on you, and just stand there.
And talked about all what he did back in college.
Right.
Who really cares?
Hey, he can drain you to death with that. I think that could really, because like I said, that's the response you're going to get. Who really cares? Come on, dude. But they got away from it. He started doing this soaring eagle thing, and it became more of a joke.
Yep.
And it became hard to take him seriously, even dealing with Michael Cole and his stint or his episodes of being this, obnoxious, commentator role that he was doing for a little bit. I think when I say he deserves a push, not just that he's done something to say, he deserves to be a main event guy, but I think he has enough to say, okay, we can really use this and make it beneficial to what we're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm. You know who I think deserves a push, and I think he's headed in that direction?
Who?
That's this guy, Jinder Mahal.
Yes, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal, that's called Ginger. I really like his look. I like how he's, he's evil.
Yeah.
Came out there. It kind of reminds you of a inverted Paul Bearer, Mankind, Undertaker-like thing. And the reason why I say inverted because you have two wrestlers against a manager as opposed to the manager switching sides from one wrestler to the other.
That's funny you said it because I thought that was the most predictable thing. I thought that Ranjit Singh was going to turn on Khali.
Yeah.
And but that's true.
So I really like him, and it's interesting. I want to see how this is going to play out because everybody knows WWE got former soap operas writing for them, and I thought that was really interesting how it said that Singh said that their sister was married to him and he
in their culture, right?
Yeah, you know, one that's addressing the fans. I don't know how those people feel about it of that culture, but
right.
I want to see how this is gonna play out. This is one of them sub headlines that's got me a little excited about watching SmackDown.
And it's funny you mention that because I think that's actually good because you need storylines like that to make people relevant. Like the problem with today's business is a lot of people feel like in order for someone to be relevant, they have to be a main event star.
Yep.
It always wasn't like that. When you look at the workhorses of the mid '90s, the Chris Jericho's, the cruiserweight division of WCW, you can pretty much say they had to make themselves popular by doing what they did best, and they made themselves relevant without being main event guys.
Yep.
You know, so by the time they became main event guys, they already had this history of being popular. They just wasn't getting past that glass ceiling. And I think this whole Jinder Mahal Khali saga, it works really well because, like you said, Jinder Mahal he's another guy who I feel is a total package. He's pretty good in the ring. He's great on the mic. He has a great look. He's a big guy. It makes Khali relevant again because you don't have to put him in a match, but you can utilize that monster. He can just be Jinder Mahal's guy. And it's funny because his character, he's like this really rich Indian heritage guy. It gives India a great, a good look. You know what I'm saying? It makes it really shines light on their culture. It makes them more relevant again. And I'm interested as well to see where it goes. It is funny the way Ranjit Singh, who's also, if you don't know, he's also part of SmackDown's creative team. The way he went about it is he inserted his culture into the story. So it's not just Khali turned up. No, he said, it's because of, he gave the backstory. Okay, this is the way it is in our culture. This was in our family, and I think it sheds light.
And you had drew some emotion.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely drew some emotion because you saw how important it is. You know what I'm saying? And by adding that in there, it's like, okay, this is. A lot of people may not understand Indian culture, but the way he went about it, okay, well, this is important. Then. This must be legit, and the way they went about it is really well. I'm interested to see how far he goes. I mean, I see him, as a future IC champion and really making that belt shine.
Oh, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
That was a good one though. Jinder Mahal. Yeah.
Yeah. Who you got next?
I am going to say Alex Riley.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, granted, he's already receiving a push, but I mean, I would be wrong to have a show to be on a show like this and not give that guy the credit he deserves.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Because this guy has WWE. I applaud them because they made a way for him to stay relevant by having him follow the Miz around and be his valet. And he took a lot of bumps. He took a lot of, but him being associated with the top guy always made him relevant.
Yep.
And he took a lot of stuff from Miz, for over the years. And it was good because it's something I feel like TNA doesn't know how to do. WWE probably knew what they wanted to do with Riley a long time ago. But they took their time.
Yeah.
They said, okay, it's no rush, but how do we keep him relevant? He didn't even win at NXT. And I don't remember who won that season.
Oh, right. You know.
But look, this guy's already, he's Money in the Bank. I mean, he's, like you said.
Main event in Raw quite a few times.
He's over.
Been in the ring, he took a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, and that's how you can always tell.
Took some bumps from Stone Cold.
That's how you can always tell when WWE really thinks highly. When they put you in the ring with the legend, back in the day they put you in a match, help you get you over. But now they put you in the ring, have some interaction. And Austin said to Miz, listen, you fussing with a guy that, he might have a brighter future than you in this business.
Yeah, that was funny.
Hey, I mean, it might be true. He's got great music, good look.
I'm calling it. You heard it here, folks. WrestleMania 30, The Miz, Alex Riley for the WWE Championship in Madison Square Garden in New York. I'll be there.
That's very possible. I mean, it really is. I mean, this guy he's taking his time. He's proven himself. He was a little cheesy on the mic, but they worked to his advantage because even in his cheesiness, he was able to use that to feed his character as being the Miz's sidekick.
Yeah.
So while he was able to develop on what he had to do, he was always relevant to the point where he had enough is enough. That first swing of the Miz, everybody's been waiting for that for such a long time. And it's over. And now
the crowd reaction.
That's what it's
out
about.
of this world.
See, and that's what it's about. That's what a lot of people. Wrestlers will tell you all the time. It doesn't matter whether we get booed or cheered, but as long as we're getting a huge reaction out of you, that's the most important thing. And we don't get anything, i.e., people like John Morrison and Drew McIntyre.
Come on now.
You're just irrelevant.
They missing something.
Who's they?
Both of them. I'll give you that. They missing something.
I mean,
you can work with McIntyre if you just add something to him.
You could.
add a little bit of seasoning.
Yeah.
You can work with him.
I think you can.
Morrison, like you said, take the furry boots off and...
Again?
Dang, I thought you fixed it. Jackknife.
Anything can happen in the wrestling room.
I think if you give Morrison... You change his look up a little bit.
I don't think that's the major thing. I think he needs to change his look and some of his in-ring stuff. Because I didn't mean to cut you off, but what a lot of people say is people don't buy Morrison because they say his moves are more acrobatic than meaningful. Like you're out there looking like a acrobat. I don't know what to call it.
I mean, you know, and then people can say, yeah, Jeff Hardy looked like one doing the Swanton Bomb, but I mean, Jeff was coming from the top rope, knocking the wind out of you. I'm not impressed by the Starship Pain, whatever they call it.
It was cool at first.
It's a move you do
like
just in the match.
Yeah.
You don't finish nobody off. I'll kick out of that.
I'm just not buying it. I mean, I don't know.
When you gonna kick out of that?
They gave him a push, and then, yeah, I don't know.
Here we have a tweet coming through.
Here we go. Live tweet on the air.
Yeah, live tweet. It says that somebody wishes for Nigel McGuinness to come back. How would that be?
Who's that?
Nigel McGuinness?
I mean, tell me who.
Sean Williams. Sean Williams saying wish Nigel McGuinness to return to him.
Well, we appreciate your tweet.
Yeah, a lot of people loved him, you know.
Now, Nigel McGuinness, for those who don't know who Nigel McGuinness is, Nigel McGuinness was one of those, I'll say, one of those legendary Ring of Honor guys that came out of that same class. You have CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe. They really, in my opinion, they made that brand stand out. Mm-hmm. And Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Bryan were both leaving Ring of Honor around the same time, and they were both up in there, like, who's going to go where. Yeah. And WWE, I think they tried to get both of them originally. WWE ended up snagging Daniel Bryan, and Nigel McGuinness ended up going to TNA, and TNA is known as Desmond Wolfe. Right. And no offense, but I think it's another person they dropped the ball on. Yeah. That Desmond Wolfe character was like...
My boy Chris Custom Made Wade put me on to him.
Okay.
A lot about...
So what'd you think of this?
Oh, I saw some of his matches, some of the best matches I've seen, you know. Even in his... And I'm talking his TNA matches. Yeah. So I can just imagine what he did for Ring of Honor. Man, I can't wait till they come to Baltimore.
That's
September when they're gonna be on TV. They got a funky time slot. It's like late.
It's like 10 or 2 in the morning, something like that. 10
and 12 between that time, you know. But nonetheless, it's still gonna be. It's wrestling, and because it's wrestling, I'm gonna watch it.
Hey, I watch Showtime All Star Wrestling and WFX Overload on.
You know what I watch? I watch TBS Wrestling. Can't help it. I can't help it.
What is TBS Wrestling? What is that?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't know what TBS is, TBS stands for Turner Broadcast Station. It is a television network, not a wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
TBS Wrestling?
Yeah.
That's... Anyway.
But you know what? I love wrestling so much. I know we talking about pushes, but I will sit up there and watch a backyard wrestling match on YouTube. It's a guy, I'm sorry, his name escapes me at the moment, but he was a fan of the show, and, you know, he watched TBS, he watched our show, and I was looking at some of his stuff, and it was pretty cool, you know, I wouldn't get in the backyard and wrestle, but nonetheless.
I probably would, I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm sorry. I got a future. I want to have a future in this business behind the microphone. I'm not trying to break bones. You know, getting hit with real ladders and they hitting each other with pieces of the house. You know, taking off the gutters and.
Yeah. Backyard wrestling was really hot at one point. I don't know. You know, it's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So nonetheless, who do you have? Who should be pushed next?
Who's next? I want to say Wade Barrett.
Why?
Because
he's already relevant.
Yeah. I guess you could say that, but okay. So how about this? Mm-hmm. I'll scratch Wade Barrett because he's already relevant, and I'll say, well, it's hard to say that, you know, because you start off with like who's already relevant. What do you mean by relevant?
I feel personally that when you look at wrestling, you see Wade Barrett on television.
Okay.
You know something big is coming. I don't think he's one of the people who are like, it's just Wade Barrett. I think he's established.
Okay.
And in due time, he will be a world heavyweight champion. You know, I don't think he needs nothing extra. I think they just need to pretty much let it flow.
Okay, naturally, right.
I think they just need to let it flow.
Which is something I feel like TNA doesn't know how to do. I'm going to keep saying it.
Man.
Who do you think? Okay, let's turn the tides a little bit. We always talk about this, but this is actually a formal show on pushes. We know who we feel deserves a push.
Yeah.
And I know, because you haven't noticed, BDuB has done a previous show on this on Wrestle Talk with Baron BDuB. We had a special guest with him that day about the most
shout out to B Ryan,
on the most overrated wrestlers, of all time.
Right.
Who do you feel has gotten a push that you feel like either dropped the ball or did not deserve it?
John Cena.
See, that doesn't make any sense because he didn't drop the ball. You just sit there and praise John Cena.
No. Alright, I'm not. Alright, I don't know how to work. I don't have anybody who I feel dropped the ball that I can think of.
I can tell you like 5. We sort of just named them.
None other than Morrison.
And?
You know,
And?
you're not giving him enough time. He's talking about Drew McIntyre.
What time does he need? Vince McMahon himself, I will keep saying this over and over again. He brought him in.
Did you ever think maybe he was rushed? Maybe that he was just a little rushed. Maybe.
But that's the whole point of the conversation. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. I don't care if he's rushed or not. But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you dropped it. So
he wasn't. But see, that's what I'm saying. Though, you can say he was rushed, but I say he wasn't ready because they gave him and Sheamus that same push.
Okay.
But somebody's thriving right now, and somebody's not.
Well, I honestly thought Del Rio dropped the ball.
But see, how did he drop the ball? He's still relevant, though.
Yeah, that's what I said. I thought.
Oh, you thought? Okay,
yeah, I thought that he dropped the ball, but you know.
Was that a WrestleMania match?
Yeah, okay. it was just so stale.
It was.
You know, I thought he had a good match, a good warm-up match. How you go from a good warm-up match at Elimination Chamber with Kofi Kingston,
right,
to just completely drop the ball at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
You know, and really, I think the transition of Raw helped him.
Okay.
I really thought that, because I don't think the match with Christian was good,
right?
But it was more so as a fan, you were attached to it because finally one of your favorites from over 10+ years had finally got over.
Right.
So I don't think it was more Del Rio in that match. I think it was just the fact that Christian was able to finally get over. So I honestly thought Del Rio had 2 chances where, you know, he could have been much better in that match. You know.
Okay.
But I think he really kind of switched it up, and he turned it up a notch. You know, he took advantage of the trade. You know, but other than that, I can't think of nobody else. Now I'll tell you this: I think I can tell you that somebody I'm tired of seeing, who they can, you know, turn down a couple notches. That's Rey Mysterio. Come on now, he's boring.
I mean, but you understand though, at least why? So, at least he's making money for the business.
Yeah. I can go out there.
No, you can't.
And get a mask.
No, you can't.
And make money.
That's not true.
The kids buy the mask because it's a mask, not because it's a lucha libre mask.
That's
not
not
because
true.
it's a part of his culture. They buy it because it's a mask.
So why haven't people been buying Sin Cara masks?
How you know?
Because you don't see him as much in the crowd as you see Rey Mysterio mask.
You will. I mean, Sin Cara hasn't. You got to think about this.
That's true. You're right. I'm not gonna argue with that.
Yeah.
I know where you're going. You know.
All right then, but that's the reason.
No, I guarantee TNA does it. It doesn't work.
What?
Have a mask wrestler and then people in the artists will be buying masks unless you're Sting.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you got a couple people with Crimson masks. And amazing.
Who's Crimson?
You know, guy from TNA.
Who?
Anyway, but then, so out of all your pushes, who's on your top rope?
Originally, I probably would have said, in all honesty, probably would have said Samoa Joe.
Okay.
But the reason I won't say Samoa Joe is because I feel like he has dropped the ball somewhat.
Yeah.
He's gained weight. He's way bigger than he used to be.
That's basically saying he's not caring.
I think so. I think he's a little upset because when Hogan came in and Bischoff, when they decided to look at the people and say who's going to be our future, they wrote him off. They said once you lose weight and this, that, and the third. And I think he already changed his look 5 different times. He already tried to, Taz first came in, tried to make him relevant because he was like Taz who came in.
Yeah.
You know, but then somewhere, I don't know. Then they tried to make him look like Umaga. Rest in peace. They gave him a little Samoan face paint, which really wasn't Samoan face paint. I don't know what they, like an arrow with something on his face. That was like, it was too obvious. Then they made it look like a mixed martial arts guy. Then he went back to the original look. I think it's to the point now, it's like, man, I don't think I'll be surprised if he stays with the company.
Okay.
I mean, people can say what they want about WWE and how this, that, and third, but WWE has a record of making mid-card stars from other brands top guys in their company.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't capitalize on a talent like him. I just think that he's sort of, maybe it's not that he doesn't care. Maybe it could be something, but it seems as if, and he goes out there and he's lost like 9 different matches already. It seems like they're trying to bury him. So that's why I probably would have said Samoa Joe. But now that I think about it, I'm going to say Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal, okay.
Because of what you said, he's been able to take what he's done and he's made himself relevant.
Yeah. The
storyline that he's in has made him relevant.
Definitely. I'm gonna say my top rope without a shadow, without Alex Riley. The kid's got it. He's on his way. It's no other way. It's you just see it. You see a star in the making.
Yeah.
I got it tapped out, and it's somebody you ain't mentioned. But I've been looking, and it came back to me. The guy who dropped the ball, I think, without a shadow of doubt, Vladimir Kozlov.
Yeah.
You come in
that
and you
true.
Was in the ring with Triple H and The Undertaker. And now you're just
entertaining.
Santino.
Yes.
And to me, I mean, he's not that entertaining. Santino is more so entertaining because you take him out. What do you take Santino out? What do you have?
That is very true. I mean, a lot of people. It's sad to say, but a lot of people forget about how he first came in. He was really good as this huge Russian monster. He didn't have music at first. He was just, he was a big deal. He was in a lot of big matches, and I was never a fan of his work in the ring. It was just, he's just a big guy, monster. I saw what they were trying to do with him, but I didn't feel like he had the chemistry in the ring that made me say, I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
But it's a good match, or this is wild. You know what I'm saying? Just versus a Sheamus and Triple H. I want to see more of a program with that, but naturally, I respect Triple H for taking the back seat to the younger guys. All his buddies are gone. Sean's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gone. He want to be the old guy still left around trying to,
More trips.
But that makes sense though.
Yeah. Now, you got tapped out.
I'm gonna go ahead and run with that one, because I don't think it gets any worse than I was going to say. John Morrison or Drew McIntyre, but those guys can be tweaked though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those guys can be tweaked, including John Morrison. But John Morrison isn't bad in the ring.
Thank you.
I don't get the impression that I don't like John Morrison in period. Just that I don't think that what he's doing is working for him, and I feel like stop if it's not working. Switch things up. Stop continuing trying to do things thinking, I'm just getting over it. Like, no, you're really not. You think it's working and it's not.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna tell you who mine is. My tapped out Mason Ryan. To me, I just don't understand. Because I'm looking at, I had forethought. Let's just say, because we don't know what's going to happen with the Punk situation, right?
okay.
Let's say CM Punk decides not to resign. Everybody swear out they know the answers, and they might be right. He might resign. I hope he does. Let's say CM Punk doesn't resign. Where does Mason Ryan go from here?
Back to Florida Championship Wrestling.
Exactly. When we saw him and Evan Bourne, that was the most boring match
That was really stupid.
The night.
That was really stupid.
I'm not impressed with this guy.
I mean, he's very green. Very green.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's tapped out, because I feel like he really hasn't gotten started yet.
Okay.
Because he's not I think he's a tweener. Like, he's too good for developmental, but he's not good enough to really get it going at WWE. Kind of like in the NBA, how guys they'll send guys to the D League and they'll go down there, guys will maybe sit on the bench. It's not really much room for them to play, so they send them down to the D League, or they go down and you average 35. It's like, what's no point in keeping you here?
Right.
If you got guys really trying to mix, so they send you back. I think he's that in between guy. I think he'll get better, but I don't think he really has gotten started yet. I don't. If they rush him too much, he's around to be more of a bodyguard type guy because that's what he does. His timing is really off. It's really stiff in the ring, but I feel like he's just getting started.
Yeah.
He's not as. I don't want to say he's like. A lot of people compare him to Batista for obvious reasons. I don't think Batista was that bad in the ring as Mason Ryan is right now, but he's still young. And I think pairing him with Punk was smart because it gives him relevance, but it doesn't take away relevance from CM Punk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say he's tapped out because I don't think he's really even gotten started yet.
Okay.
When I think of a tapped out guy, someone who got a push, I think of someone who had gotten a push, but you just didn't get over.
Yeah.
Your Morrisons, your McIntyres, your Morrisons and your McIntyres.
Come on now, why you so hard on two?
I mean,
maybe we should put them in a match together. See what happens.
I think Drew McIntyre would wipe the floor with John Morrison.
Wow. I agree, but wow. I mean,
because McIntyre can go in the ring. It's just that his character doesn't make him relevant. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Piper wants to work with him, as I heard. I mean, I'm not sure if that's true.
Boy,
I would love to see that. I think that would make him relevant. I think that would really.
And then guess what? Next year around this time when we having the show, you're gonna be like, yeah.
And I wouldn't be mad. I would say about time.
I know, because you want to see wrestlers succeed. I'm not gonna sit up here and say you don't.
Right.
But I mean, I just feel you're a little too hard on Drew McIntyre. You just don't like this cat.
I'm hard on him because when I see someone who has potential to really do something, and then you don't capitalize on it, that's what it's, I don't like that. It's like, no, this business is very fickle. It comes and it goes.
Yeah.
Your body wears down. And I think if you have the opportunity, take full advantage. This is why I respect Sheamus so much.
Okay.
Because Sheamus came in, he was new. He got pushed all the way to the top, and people were pissed about it in the back. Sheamus will tell you, like, that's the way it is. You've been in WWE 15 years, and you can't get a push. But this new guy that just brought up for 6 months, all of a sudden now he's in the WWE Championship match. Politics, jealousy, he had all that stuff to do with. He's got a push because he's friends with Triple H. He was smart. He learned from Triple H. He said, "I'm young. I want to learn. I want to get better." He learned his workout habits. He worked out with him on the road. And he's kissing his butt, yada yada. No, Sheamus, you can say what you want about him, but he did what he had to do. He got put in a couple of championship matches. After a while, Sheamus is, he became irrelevant at one point. He got bumped down to what people call the mid card because right now sometimes storylines got to end. Yeah. Try something new. They brought him right back. He's relevant again. He's working hard. He capitalized on it. And Sheamus is one of the top stars in WWE for years to come.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why I respect him so much. And I feel like him and McIntyre got that same type of push from the jump. And I feel like McIntyre, maybe, I don't want to say he didn't capitalize on it, but I guess his character or whatever you want to, I don't know what you can really blame, what really went wrong with him, but somewhere down the line, something didn't go right. And they gave him the push. It's like, there's only so much they can do.
Yeah.
And he had this chosen one angle. He was going to, I'm the chosen one. Vince hired me. He ran. It was like, okay, it worked for a little bit, and you had somebody he was working with that people cared about, Matt Hardy. It got heat on him, but for some reason, that heat died down. Yeah. And it's just like, now he does not get a reaction at all. Yeah. Love me, hate me, cheer me, or boo me, he gets nothing. Drew McIntyre comes out, you're like,
out of time.
When his music comes on, I'm like, who's this? What's going on? Oh, dang, it's Drew McIntyre coming out.
You just hate when I was playing it in the car, man, the other day.
I didn't even know what it was. Like, what is this? You talking about, why you hate it? I'm like, what is this? That's how, like, he's just very forgettable right now.
How can you not like McIntyre?
I mean, people don't understand that wrestlers, the ones who make it are total packages. Yeah. Riley, good look, good size, in-ring skills.
Lex Luger couldn't make it in the WWE, but that's another show.
Luger didn't. His name was a total package, but he wasn't a total package.
What?
He was not the total package. He was a total muscle head.
He could go that torture rack.
He wasn't a total package in WWE.
Oh man,
he was the narcissist.
No, he wasn't total package. He was the narcissist, and then he was the American Express.
Total package in WCW, and he wasn't a total package.
Nonetheless, that's another show.
He was another football star, turned wrestler.
No, but Luger could actually go in the ring a little bit better than Mason Ryan.
Well,
Ryan is what
you compare apples and oranges.
But Mason Ryan, somebody I see that's in there because of his look. and we'll get into that.
But that's no excuse though, because look at the Warrior. No one will ever say that guy could wrestle, but that guy is a major superstar. He is a legend because of his character. Say he's not.
He's a legend. He is, but because he did what he had to do. He made the most of it, He took this crazy character and credits to the WWE Jim Johnson for putting the music, because when you think of Ultimate Warrior, the first thing you think of his music.
Right.
If you think of his music, the first thing you want to do is go running around your block, shaking the fences.
But you respect a guy like that because he said, okay, I can't wrestle. I'm horrible in the ring. Nobody likes me. But he became a legend off that, though. Yeah. He found ways to get over.
He just got greedy. And if he didn't, he still would be he probably would have been in, one of the top tiers of the Hall of Fame.
WWE brought him back 2 or 3 times because it's like, you know what, when someone is a problem child and they constantly bring you back because of your marketability, hey,
there's money in the Warrior. Shirts,
I mean, his look, the way he was, it wasn't his wrestling skills, which is why I don't see why people complain about, wrestling matters. It's like, if you think about it, all your favorite superstars, all the ones that really wrestled didn't get as much shine as they did.
Yeah.
There's a few that broke through that are considered top tier legends that when they walk in the door, you
sort of like my boy Chris Howard said. Shout out to Chris. He was saying on ESPN. They said that it's kind of like it's obviously it's more than wrestling, but they even the NBA and you can even say the NFL are doing what WWE does, and they kind of like market their heels, use their heels for marketing. Said if baseball was to do the same thing, maybe the ratings will go up.
I mean, hey, that's what NBA did. They made a lot of money off this whole LeBron going to Miami thing because LeBron is the biggest villain.
Yeah.
In the NBA and the media knew what they were doing.
Like you told me before about music, look at Kanye West. What he did with the what's her name? Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
Coming out there, he was hated, but media blew up, websites got traffic, and last but not least, you have an angry rant? Because I got one.
You want to go ahead and go first then?
All right. Yeah, my angry rant was on Mark Henry.
Why?
Because, and it's not so much of now, but it's more so before. And it's kind of one of them warning angry rants, one of them hoping.
How do you give a warning angry rant?
I'm going to show you.
Here we go.
This is the thing. Mark Henry needs to be pushed. He's paid his dues. He's went out there. And now better be the time that he gets his push. Now better be the time that he can finally become a world champion. Not just in the title picture. Not just another man trying to take down the streak of the Undertaker who ends up on the tombstone. No. Henry deserves a push. That's what I've been saying. You know what? Now is the time. And that's my angry rant, ladies and gentlemen.
He is on Undertaker's tombstone. That's May 22.
That's what I'm saying. He's another hit on the Undertaker's tombstone.
Okay.
I mean, Undertaker's he's another tombstone under the Undertaker's streak. That better?
I get it.
Is that better?
I get it.
As long as it's good for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just didn't.
All right, just make sure it's good for you. My bad. Your angry rant.
My angry rant is Drew McIntyre. Yes.
Out of times.
Drew, you got a good look. You're decent in the ring. What's the problem? What do you have to say? Tell me, please. I would like to know what went wrong. I know you had some issues backstage with your wife, ex-wife, the situation. That's why you don't. Never mind, anyway. But what is wrong with you? Get it together. You went from being the chosen one to the guy who gets super kicked in the face in Las Vegas when Shawn Michaels comes back to TV. I hope you're enjoying your paycheck because you're a joke now. That's what I have to say about that. I'm not going to waste only with some time because I am the real Dwayne Allen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining this episode. As you know, Money in the Bank is coming up. Make sure you tune in as we break down the pay-per-view. Go well in deep thought as to who we feel will emerge as the Money in the Bank and what is going to happen with Punk and Cena. Only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining this episode of The Wrestling Realm. Be sure to tune in to more episodes. Make sure if you missed any of them, check us out on YouTube at www.youtube.com/BearandBDuB. Also, youtube.com/BearandBDuB. Wrestling Realm. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Realm, and join us on Facebook at The Wrestling Realm, because we will include each and every one of our fans into our shows as to who you feel is relevant to whatever subject we are on that day. Any final thoughts?
Let's see what happens.
Well, you know what else we got coming up for them? We got the cage matches episode.
Yes.
That's going to be interesting. You know, it's one of my favorite matches in the history of the business.
Yeah, that's a lot of history behind a cage match. Probably one of the most innovative ideas, even.
From the ones that look like fences to the ones that they used to call Big Blue to back to the fences. Boy, I can't wait. You never seen a cage match till you see it in person.
True.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in to the episode, and I want each and every one of you to give us your favorite cage match, and I promise you, we will address it on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining this episode of Wrestling Realm. Be sure you tune into the next one.